Afternoon and good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and Coffee Stream episode 465. Sorry there was no coffee shots yesterday or Twitch stream. Things got a bit hectic. Friend, my best friend, kind of had a family emergency and I needed a place to stay, so that's kind of what happened. But we are here for Canadian Wednesday, and it's gonna be a good one, I think. Hopefully, Dr. Functional will be able to join us. He did say that he might be out looking for apartments today, so he may not be able to make it. But the link is there just in case. So I've got a few things to read today. It's very interesting. As about three or 4 years ago now, the then Premier of Ontario, Kathleen Wynne, pledged to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Now, this was something that Doug Ford ran on as a bad thing and that he would not do. Well, guess what he just said that he would do? That's right. He says that by January, he will be raising the minimum wage to $15. And Pincolo played this very interesting video last night. It basically paralleled the two premiers, Kathleen Wynne and Doug Ford, and their speeches. They're virtually the same. It's basically like he took her speech and added just a couple of different phrases and, maybe subtracted a couple of words here and there, added a few here and there. But it's basically the same speech. Hello, Costin. Emergencies are evil. Apartments are evil. That's funny. Give me 3 to 4 minutes. I'll be right there. Okay, cool. Functional will be joining us in just a moment. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. I'm just trying to get the stories pulled up here and ready, but we'll wait for Functional to join us. But yeah, it's and there's another. We've got a couple of on top of the Doug Ford thing. We've got a couple of other stories to talk about. So. Coffee, good. Yeah, this, and of course, we've got Trudeau in, at COP26, and he's saying that, we're gonna cap the oil and gas sector, and we want a net zero emission by 2050, and of course, everyone is, rightfully angry at him in Canada. But then we've got the rest of the world basically pointing and laughing and going, oh, look what Canada's doing. Ha 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 ha. Not paying attention to the fact that right after Trudeau made that speech, Biden did the same thing. So did Boris Johnson. So did the person from Australia. Like, it's not just Canada that's doing this. And there was a tweet that said, guys, I don't know why y'all are complaining. There are literally people that live in Australia and Canada. And this guy is an American. And I'm just like, nobody's government in the West right now is doing a good thing. And they want the citizenry of each country to be pointing and laughing at the other countries and pretending that shit isn't just as bad at home. They want this, people. They don't want us to start going, hey, you know what? This is happening over here too. Why don't we all just, start banding together to get them to stop it? No, they don't want that to happen. So they want us to be sitting there, oh, this country is so much worse than my country. Let's point and laugh. No, we are all equally fucked right now. All of us. I don't know, how else to break the news to you guys, to everybody, but nobody is less fucked right now. And the more, and the sooner we start to realize that. Hold on, functional, sorry, I think I've... So yeah, the minute we get our heads out of our asses and understand that we are all fucked equally, and we can all unfuck ourselves if we stop, if we stop letting the government get us to fight amongst ourselves and point and laugh at each other instead of comparing notes. You know what this is? You know what the governments of all of our nations are right now? I'm going to give you this analogy, okay? Right now, every government of every Western nation is like that guy. You know the guy I'm talking about. The guy that has 4 chicks going at once, right? And they all know. But they refuse to admit it. They refuse to band together and completely cut this man off and come together and support each other and realize that this guy's a scumbag. No, they would much rather tear each other down and point fingers at each other and vie for that man's attention so that they might just get one little scrap more. And this guy just sits back and lets it happen because inevitably all four of those chicks are going to end up sucking his cock at the end of the night. And he knows it. Right? That's what our governments are. Okay? That is what our governments are right now. We are those squabbling bitches. And it's sad. Hello, Bishop. Hello, Bishop. It's sad. It's sad to be, and when you point that out to people, right? Oh, big bad government, you're a conspiracy nut. No. Just stop. Government was supposed to be there to do the people's bidding and do what the people needed. The government has forgotten that. The government has forgotten that it was put there by us to do things that we need done. And we've let them forget it. And not only have we let them forget it, but we've let them we've let them start treating us like garbage. And asking for them to treat us like garbage in many cases. And it's kind of sad. All right, let's check. I'm sitting in the StreamYards thing just to make sure that I don't miss functional backstage. Because sometimes StreamYard doesn't do the boop. It does sometimes do the boop, and sometimes it doesn't do the boop. Like on my 1,000 subscriber special, Monkey was actually backstage for a whole bunch of minutes. and the StreamYard thing didn't boop, and I kept looking and looking and looking, and he wasn't there. Like, and I totally missed him. So yeah, that's it, it's a very, very weird. It's a weird world that we're in right now. You know what we'll do while we're waiting for functional? Because I want to talk. I want to go over the minimum wage thing with him, but we'll read the BC story first, while we wait for Mr. Functional, and I'll just keep checking. I'll just keep an ear out. Okay. Let's see. There we go. That's the story I need. Okay. This is a CBC story. And it's involving the Supreme Court, or the, I guess it would be the Superior Court. Because that's what the top provincial courts are called. Is Superior Court. The Superior Court of British Columbia is hearing an interesting case of looks like stealthing. Okay. Okay. Here we go. So, this story. So it says top court hearing case involving condom use and consent. All right. Case involves man who allegedly ignored request to wear a condom during sex. So let's see here. This is posted today, so it is a brand new story. All right. Let's see. Oh, there's the boop. It worked this time. Hooray. I'm a coming. Oh, wait, I'm all the way up there. Okay, I'm less far than I thought. Okay. Hurry up. Hurry up. Okay, there we go. Okay. And add to stream. Hello.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. Hey, all. Hey, BP, sorry. Suffice to say, it's just been a hell of a morning for me, and I'm glad I'm here finally.
Yeah, it's been interesting here too. It's my best friend just left. They went back to the hospital and then they're gonna go home from there. So yeah, so it's so
This
so
looks
we're looking
interesting.
we're looking at this story here. This is from British Columbia.
Of course it is.
Yeah, because of course it is. Everything weird comes out of British Columbia. So apparently this is as a trigger warning. The question of the heart at the Superior Court case concerns the definition of sexual activity and whether the definition of sexual activity. Okay.
I guess.
And whether sex with a condom and whether sex with a condom is a different type of activity than sex without. Well,
I mean,
Yeah,
Kinda, but not really.
it's called protected sex and unprotected sex. That's basically the difference. I don't know. Like, it seems to me that this is already established. Uh, but all right then.
I mean,
Uh,
don't forget, it wasn't until like 1980 or 1981 where in Canada there were no laws up until then about sexual abuse to men
yep,
or even boys.
yep.
Couldn't rape, couldn't even in the UK. There's still no laws guarding men from rape, being raped. So by women, it's defined in the law as a penetrative act. So unless a woman penetrates you, then blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like these types of laws are really archaic and really need to get updated. And
Oh, and I was wrong. This isn't a BC Superior Court. This is actually going all the way to the Supreme Court. It says Canada's top court will hear arguments today about whether a BC man who allegedly ignored a woman's request to wear a condom during sex should stand trial. A case that could have broad impacts on the interpretation of consent and sexual assault.
broad, I see what they did there.
The question of the heart of the case concerns whether the definition of sexual activity and whether the sex with a condom is a type of sexual activity different from sex without. The complainant, whose identity is protected by a publication ban,
Because of course.
so there's not going to be any. Like, this is basically the only thing we're going to hear about this until the decision. Met Ross Mackenzie Kirkpatrick. That's a very Western Canadian name. Ross Mackenzie Kirkpatrick. But online back in 2017. She testified that she had insisted he wear a condom during sex.
Wait. They said requested. Now they're upping it to insisted.
Yeah.
Which is it? That makes a huge difference.
It does. It does. Hello there, Grillin' Pirate Pete. It sounds like Russian roulette. Only one way you get one bullet, the other way you get 5 bullets.
5 million bullets.
Pinkalo, you are not wrong. Let's see. They met up and had sex twice in one night. The first time with a condom. On the second occasion, the woman said Kirkpatrick briefly turned to the bedside table. She said she thought he was getting another condom. He was not. Then the complainant went to the police, saying she didn't consent to sex without a condom and never would have done so if asked.
This is more of that fucking remorseful.
I don't. So so originally when I heard this story this morning, I thought that like it was like kind of like a stealthing thing. You know what I mean? Like where he like had the condom on and then he like pulled it out
off or something during the act. No. This is something like that's actually
like
I can relate to, and
you can turn to the bedside table for a second. Like, why did you not, as the woman, go, "Hey, are you grabbing another condom?"
Could you know what, like feel it or see it
or hear him ripping? Like, what if you didn't hear him opening one? Like, if the lights were off.
Sorry, sweetie. It's your responsibility to ensure that the sex is on your terms, not his to read your fucking mind. Yeah, the first time you said put on a condom. The second time you were like, meh.
I honestly thought this was a different kind of scenario, but as I'm reading this, I don't think that this is. I wouldn't even put this as stealthing, quite honestly. I would.
This is Karening.
Pinkala says, okay, I gotta interject. If it was at her place, I could understand him only having one condom. But if it was at his place, he better have more than one condom handy. Yeah. Okay. They're both, honestly, I think they're both, like, if he had sex with her with a condom on the first time, it's gonna probably stand, like, logically, if I was a dude, I'd be like, okay, I fucked her with a condom on the first time. She probably would want that again, right? Like, and I don't know this chick, so I really kind of don't want to risk knocking her up in case she doesn't like have birth control. So I'm gonna like put on another condom.
I gotta stop you right there, BP.
But
you have a brain. Guys have two brains, and when the other brain takes over. The good brain, the first brain, the good brain.
That's where the butt comes in.
It doesn't good, so think much.
That's where the butt comes in.
Exactly.
That's where I go, but if she doesn't hear him opening that second condom, like if the lights are off or something and it's dark and she can't see, I don't know why your eyes haven't adjusted to the darkness by this point. Anyway, that's a different conversation. If you do not hear or see signs of a second condom being produced, why are you letting him back inside you?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things I can think of that are just wrong with this. That is, I'm not completely absolving him of all blame. Like, dude, you should have, you should have known. Is this a court case? I don't think so. But there's so many things that are her responsibility that she just abdicated and seems like now she's regretful. Because you can tell the difference if there's a condom on or not for both people.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, you lost your wallet? What if this is a case where he said they're all crap, I don't have another condom, and then she said that's okay, and then the next morning she had her regrets. That's what I'm wondering, Pink Hollow, this is kind of where I'm leaning, because like this doesn't read like the way I was thinking it would. Like, do you know what I mean? Is
there anything more? Is there more to this story?
I'm trying to see. Oh, here. Yeah. The original trial judge acquitted Kirkpatrick in 2018, finding there was no evidence that the complainant had not consented to the sexual activity in question. Okay. So in BC, the judge, in the provincial court, the judge was like, no, there's no evidence that this was not a consensual act. Yeah. Then it says last year, the Court of Appeal for British Columbia unanimously ordered a new trial. Of course it did, because it's BC. Although the judge's reasons for doing so differed. How can you unanimously order something but have different reasons for it? That's a little weird.
It is, but I mean, I can kind of understand it.
Is it a statutory holiday where you are, Turk, that you said the banks are closed?
Oh, jeez.
Your citizenship card and your driver's license. Oh, that's never good. So it says 2 of the judges said that sexual intercourse with a condom is different from sexual intercourse without one, and the complainant had not consented to sex without a condom. The dissenting judge found there was evidence Kirkpatrick had defrauded the alleged victim. So one judge says he stealthed her, and 2 judges say that protected sex and unprotected sex are different enough that you require consent for both. That's what's happening here. I don't agree with... honestly, I do not agree with any of those decisions, but I am not a judge, so... Wow. That's... Okay, then. The Supreme Court will hear arguments today... it took me back up. Sexual activity versus fraud. The Crown is asking the justices to weigh in on whether no, not without a condom means, quote, yes, even without a condom.
But I thought in the previous case they already established she didn't say anything the second time around. She didn't say yes or no.
No, she didn't. All she said was, I thought he put on a condom.
Yeah. But I mean,
that's not, you didn't ask, you didn't go, hey, did you put on a condom?
Yeah, she just assumed.
You didn't,
and it doesn't know the
blind. Like, I am blind, and I'm here to tell you that you don't need to see to know if your partner has put on a condom, because you can hear them opening it, right? You can hear them putting it on, and if they are assholes and open the condom and like pretend to put it on, it feels different once it's in you. So, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's BC. They're blocking her information, so she's got to be a feminist.
If anyone is in East Asia and sees my wallet, please give it back to me. I'll give you like 40. Yeah, there's nobody here. And
I'll try Turk, but I'm probably not going to be there for a few years.
Yeah. So it says, the case on appeal presents this court with an opportunity to answer these questions and to clarify the law of consent, wrote the Crown in its brief. Complicating matters is a 2014 Supreme Court decision all sides will be citing today. That case involved a woman who consented to having sexual intercourse with the accused, Craig Jared Hutchinson, on the condition he wear a condom. Without her knowledge, Hutchinson pierced holes in the condom and she became pregnant. That is an incredibly different matter.
I have a very different take about that. I mean, because it deals with what the court found. It is a bad thing to do. I don't believe people should get away with doing that. Because the Supreme Court justice has held up his conviction with the majority writing that his condom sabotage constituted fraud and that the woman's consent was nullified by that deception.
I would agree with that.
Again, it is fraud. That's fraud. However, I don't agree that the woman's consent is automatically nullified. And I don't agree that...
Yeah, I don't... Yeah, now that you put it that way, I don't think it revokes her consent. I do think that...
It changes the nature of the consent.
It does. And I believe that... Like, I wouldn't...
We're talking the law here, though, BP. And
yeah.
He wore a condom.
Yeah.
He sabotaged the condom, but he wore a condom. Those were her stipulations.
Yeah.
If we're going to go down this road and people like this are going to exist and do shitty things on both sides of the gender spectrum,
yeah,
then, there's going to be that level of anal retentive, like what I just said. she asked him to wear a condom. She didn't ask him to wear a functional condom. She didn't ask him to put it on his penis exactly the way it is supposed to, defined on the packaging. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not. I'm trying to absolve him of what he did, because again, what he did should be at very least frowned upon and not done. Yeah. I don't know if it should be a criminal matter, especially with how the law treats men and women drastically different here in Canada.
I would definitely hold him civilly responsible. Like the guy who sabotaged the condom, I would definitely hold him civilly responsible. Like if she decided to keep the child, I would hold him civilly responsible. And
encourage her to get a restraining order.
Yeah.
And not allow, legally, on the legal side of things, not allow him to ever see that child unless she okayed it.
Yep.
Not to mention that if there were any medical costs, any costs incurred, he would still be liable. He's not going to be able to ever see that kid, but damn well better be paying child support.
Yep. So this carries on to say the Supreme Court justices upheld his conviction with the majority writing that his condom sabotage constituted fraud and that the woman's consent was nullified. Yeah. So then it...
Because BP, that kind of can constitute a slippery slope. What if the condom fails?
Yeah.
For any number of reasons. Remember, condoms are like 84, 86%.
Well, some of them are up in the 90s, like the latex ones are up into like.
I thought that was 98. For latex. Anyway, my point is they're not 150% perfect at preventing transmission or pregnancy. There's occasionally manufacturer defects, all these kinds of things. So then that kind of opens up the door for he said, she said. She says he sabotaged the condom. He says it just broke.
Yeah.
And then we all know how these kinds of things play out in the courts. It's the men are always fighting an uphill battle, no matter what. It just doesn't sit right with me that we've come.
This is a very
these types of roads.
Yeah, and this says here that's a real critical piece because someone who asks that question isn't trying to deceive anyone. Gauthier said, and then so this carries on, and yet if the respondent is successful, even though he didn't have the intent to do it, he now is culpable for a criminal act. Exactly.
Yep.
And would end up with a criminal record. Could be registered as a sex offender. The outcome is very, very serious. Yes. Yep.
And if it was the opposite, if she sabotaged a condom or
which women absolutely do.
They absolutely do to get him on the hook.
Yep.
There would be zero consequences for that woman. Again, the law is not treating this as the law should from a purely objective view of legality.
No.
Because you can see precedents where men have tried to take women to court over similar things. Again, we can't say they're the exact same because we don't know all the details, but they're very similar cases in which these kinds of things happen, and we've seen how those have played out if the genders are reversed, and they always turned out to be nothing. No, you pay her child support.
Yeah.
Or no, it's her right to get an abortion if she wants, no matter what you say. You cannot start doing this unless you fix earlier precedent.
Yeah, exactly. This says interveners are hoping the Supreme Court's eventual ruling will offer more legal clarity on stealthing, a slang term used to describe non-consensual removal of a condom during sex. But he didn't do that. They were done having sex the first time, and in which he used the condom. And she says, And I guarantee you. So she says he turned to the bedside table. Okay? That move in itself tells me he actually went to look for one. Right? And like Pincalo said earlier in chat, what if this is a case of he was like, crap, I don't have any more. And she was, in the moment, was like, oh, that's okay. Right? And then the next morning, she was like, oh, fuck, I really didn't want to have unprotected sex. You know, like, that's...
We don't know, we can't know, and that's, again, why I don't think that the law should be able to just make a decision, because it's he said, she said. The courts literally can't do anything about that. It's he said, she said. Again,
name
what
five
if the
women who have sabotaged? What are you talking about, Tarek?
He's talking about what I said about how condoms break, women sabotage them, and then you said, yeah, women do that.
Well, women do that tons of times.
It's
and they admit it. They're proud of it. Oh, I totally poked holes in the condoms. It was great. It's sick.
Yeah, it happened to my best friend. Now he's got 5 kids with a woman he hates because she did that.
Yeah.
And anyway.
So yeah, this is a weird. So this says the law doesn't reflect people's lived experiences, said Kate Feeney. It's not. Oh my god. I hate that term, lived experiences. Lawyer with West Coast Women's Legal Educational and Action Fund. Oh Lord. West Coast LEAF, the advocacy group, is an intervener in the case. Of course it is.
Of course it is. They're a feminist group. I told you behind this there was going to be some sort of feminazi bullshit.
If you've only agreed to sex with a condom and that agreement is violated, that means you've been subjected to touching and likely contact with bodily fluids. Well, yeah.
No. Sorry. Again, that's wrong. What if... We're going to get graphic here, kids. Earmuffs. If you're in the moment and you're coming close to climax and I rip it off and then blow it all over her back or chest or whatever, sorry, that does not preclude rape.
Nope.
You dumb feminist bullshitter. This gets me so mad, again, because there's no consistency. There's no equality under the law. I agree. If she says put on a condom, you put on a condom, or it's not quote unquote legal sex. The second time, again, there is nothing in the case in her quotes that says she said put on a condom again. Are we going to then just define that there has to be a legal statute of limitations? That your consent is for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 years?
Set the consent timer.
Yeah, it just... Unless she's taking responsibility, this seems to be the core of the case here, BP, that this woman, in some way, is abdicating her responsibility and placing it on him for not reading her mind. Or for, any number of possibilities that could have arisen from turns to the table. Oh, I thought he got a condom. Come on, really?
Had she said, had it been like, had he turned to the table, then she said, hey, did you get a condom? He ignored her. She said, hey, hello, I'm talking to you. Did you get a condom? And then he got on top of her and had sex with her. Yeah. That's a different story.
And I also don't like thinking that in my younger years that this would make me a rapist.
Yep.
Because that has happened to me. Again, in the moment between you and your partner at the time, sometimes, the first time it's a little, your first time with a person, You put one on, blah blah blah, and then that moment is over, but a new moment starts up like almost right away, and you guys are just like, you know what? Screw it.
Yeah. Hello, Skep Talk.
I don't know.
So let's.
Oh, hey, Skep. Yes. Skep and I are quite evil.
Hey, that's why you hang out with me.
Real Skep is willing to endorse fake Skep for a fee to be negotiated.
So this is a really interesting story because and his lawyer, I really hope his lawyer can help him out here, because this is very let's see here, where there's something that California did they're talking about here.
Because of course they
fuck off. Why is this not?
Because in California you can have AIDS and knowingly infect another person with it and not be legally culpable. So let's listen to what those jackanapes have to say about anything.
Oh yeah. Well, it is BC, so
I know. It's California North.
Yeah.
Is the reader giving you some trouble? Like, because I saw that there might have been more to the article.
Yeah, my computer.
Putting you back to the top.
Being in.
Oh! You almost had it.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
I think there was a similar case in California where they did rule that the feminist ideal of like multi-stage consent. You have to say you basically have to consent after at any different act. Hey, can I touch you here? Can I touch you there? Can I pull down my pants? Can I pull down your pants? Can I place my penis inside of your vagina? Can I then thrust? Can I thrust again? Can I thrust? Like, I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic, people. It's not that bad, but it might as well be that bad.
Well, it's getting pretty interesting in California, that's for sure. All right, where's that story here?
Canada. Come on, Canada. Let's not.
There was a tweet from some idiot who was like, who was saying, what was it? Guys, why are you all complaining? There are people that literally live in Canada and Australia. And I'm like...
Wait, what?
I'm just like, really? Are you that blind to what's going on in your country? Like,
what was the context, though?
That was just the tweet.
There are people who live in Canada.
Why are you complaining about your lives? There are people literally living in Canada and Australia.
Well, because America is one of the most corrupt nations in the world. That's probably why. I mean, at this point, it's hard to.
I'm just sitting there going, it's like these people don't know what's going on in their own country. I started off the stream by talking about how the governments in all of our countries are like that guy that has like 4 or 5 chicks on the go at once, and all the bitches know about each other, and instead of coming together to tell that asshole to fuck off and becoming a group of 5 really good friends, they turn on each other and like just, no, he's my man. No, he's my man. No, he's my man. And that he just sits back and watches it happen because he knows he's going to get his dick sucked by 4 different girls at the end of the night. That's what's going on right now. Just in political terms.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad, like, to know that that's what's going, and when you point that out, most people are like, oh, that's just, why, oh, yeah, big bad government. Oh, you conspiracy nut. It's like, no. So did you hear what Doug Ford did? He made the announcement last night or yesterday.
I did. Is it the same thing? I'm drawing a blank. I read it last night. I'm drawing a blank.
So Doug Ford made the announcement yesterday that he's going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour come January. Now, that's what Kathleen Wynne did just before the election.
And one of the things he campaigned on against. Remember, he won in a Biden way in that he was not Kathleen Wynne, and people did not want Kathleen Wynne's increase in the minimum wage, involvement in the education system, etc., etc. We didn't vote for him, we voted against her.
Yep.
And now for him to turn around at the end, in the twilight of his campaign run, kind of a dick move.
And, everybody's, unfortunately, we're gonna get a Liberal or an NDP government in Ontario this time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And
I hate that.
But you know what that means in an election cycle term? That means that next federal election, we're going to have a conservative party. Because every time the Liberals get reelected in Ontario, Conservatives get elected up in Ottawa. And it's weird. It flip-flops. Because look at it. We had a brief couple of years where there was a Liberal government in Ontario and a Liberal government in Ottawa with Paul Martin and Jean Chrétien, right? And then we had Harper for 12 years and a steady Liberal government for 12 years. Then we get the Liberal government elected in Ottawa. Then, 2 years later, we get a Conservative government elected in Ontario.
Oh, yeah, we are the poster child for a pendulum
we
style.
Flip-flop.
Yeah, no, it goes one side, and then we hate them, so we go to the other side. We hate them just as much, so it goes back to the other side. This is why we needed I hate to keep banging this drum. This is why we needed a new party akin to the NDP in the spirit of them coming up through the ranks and rebranding and everything with the PPC, because they were the only party that was different from the big two. The Libs and the Libs and the Dems, the Libs and the Conservatives. And again, BP, I'm about as liberal as you can get, like classically liberal.
Yeah.
I believe in very liberal things, in the bindings of society and our tribes and our country, and I'm patriotic like that. But I hate thinking of good economics as a left versus right issue.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a authoritarian versus individualism, collectivism versus individualism matter, in that there are some things that we do for the greater good. Taxes. Just, glaringly taxes. They're for the greater good.
Yep.
But there are some things that should not be the purview of the federal government or the provincial government because of how they affect you on the daily basis. And for them to just come in and say, oh, well, we're just going to raise the minimum wage. It's like, no, fuck off. That's the problem.
Costin, he didn't say he wanted to raise it to 15. I think he said he wanted to raise it a couple of dollars, but he specifically ran against Kathleen Wynne on the $15. He said it would be too hard for small business. He specifically
and that was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Now, post-pandemic, when half of the small businesses shuttered, well, then maybe, you know what? Maybe the $15 an hour wouldn't be that bad anymore, because we have a lot of the mom and pop shops, a lot of the smaller businesses have now shuttered permanently.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't affect them. I say that as a joke, people, still a terrible idea, and I hate to make light of people's misfortune, but I mean, shit, that's comedy.
It's cynical. It's cynical realism.
Yeah,
that's how bureaucrats think.
And I mean, it just if they stop with so much red tape and interventionism on the government level to private business, without basic protections for workers, that's all you need. Are you being discriminated or abused at work? No, fine, then fuck off. It's not our purview, kind of thing. You know, like that should be the government's mantra. But we know that governments like to just keep acquiring power, acquiring authority.
Yeah. The government, and we have let the government forget this. The government has forgotten that it is there to do what we want it to do.
Not to tell us what we want.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I agree with this one too.
Yeah.
And I got ash in my coffee. God damn.
Oh, wonderful.
It was a nice little leaf, so I just pulled it out. Daylight savings time.
Yeah, I hate daylight savings time. Specifically the spring one.
It at one point served some purpose, but again, because we live in a modern society now, BP, we live in a society, you know, with all of our modern inventions and advancements, laws like this become archaic. We don't need it anymore. In fact, I'm a proponent of a global time zone. Like I wished that we transitioned societally, not forcefully by government, but societally, more people would be like, you know what, let's all just adhere to GMT, let's say.
Yeah.
So that when I say, or when you say as a internet personality, hey, my show is tomorrow at 4 a.m. 400 hours.
Yeah.
People will know it's 0400 hours. It doesn't matter if you're in Greenwich, in Australia, in Canada, or California, like, because it would be standardized, and it wouldn't really have any real effect of, hey, I'm going to bed at 12 o'clock. Well, 12 o'clock is in actuality, or 1200 hours. 1200 hours in actuality is like 8 p.m. here, so 8 p.m. Eastern. So, I mean, you see what I'm saying? It would kind of just even out. It wouldn't matter. It just, the numbers would change. So for global unity, that's the kind of globalism I can get behind.
Yeah.
Let's start thinking a little bit in advance, because what happens when we start making colonies on the moon, research stations on Mars? Like, when we start expanding off of this planet, we don't need them. Oh, what time is it there? 4 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah. Yeah, you never heard of You never heard people calling Earth back on in Star Trek, and they were, you know, it was always, you know, we'll just, you know, it's, you never heard, you know, Picard calling an admiral back on Earth and, Jean-Luc, it's 0300 hours here. What are you doing?
Yeah, right.
I'm sleeping.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure in Star Trek specifically they use GMT.
Yeah.
And they still use a 24-hour cycle because, I mean, obviously this is the cradle of humanity. Let's, you know, sure, let us have our little bit of self-important indulgence and say, okay, well, we're still going to, excuse me, we're still going to measure time as it relates to humans on a 24-hour cycle with a 365 and 1/4 day a year cycle. Sure, because it doesn't matter. It's just a metric on which we're establishing as a guide. What happened?
Oh yeah, Pincalo says the craziest thing I read about daylight savings time was the letter from Willie. Yeah, Willie Willette.
Little Willie from Philly?
No, Willie Willette from 1907. He wrote a letter as to why daylight savings time should be a thing, and it's so very like turn of the century, like the way it's written.
Yeah,
you're just like, oh my god, this cannot be written in any other time period than this. But it's so pretentious. It's almost like a 17th century. Like it's there's no like thee or thou, but it's like just the phrasing and the sentence structure is so like, 1800s, just...
I wonder if people are going to look at this time and be like, oh, LOL, Sag face, cat jam, smiley emoji, finger pointing emoji, and go, yeah, that was how people wrote back then. It's very distinctly turn of the century, 2000s. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine anthropologists in like 1,000 years comparing emojis to hieroglyphs and going, what happened? Like, look at this. Like, look at the hieroglyph. Like, what? And then humans, they could write, these
written language evolved from these pictograms.
They could write,
and then it evolved back into pictograms.
Yeah, like they could, because in ancient Egypt there was some incredible pieces of work written in that script, like the Egyptian.
But you know why they relied more heavily on pictograms, right? Most people weren't literate.
No.
The vast majority, like 98% of the populace, could not read and write. So a pictogram was easily communicative between one person to another. Again, even with another tribe, let's say, the Mongolians and the Egyptians met, they could still point to this and be like, oh, feather, water, reed. They'd be like, oh, maybe that means that there's a body of water over there, and the feather indicates that there's ducks in the reed. Oh, thank you for it's an easier, simpler form of communication via pictograms. I studied this. Go figure. Whereas written language is very complex.
Yeah. And
it's only been in very recent modern history, again with the invention of the printing press, and thanks to the works predominantly of the Christian Church to spread these Bibles and spread their message, they used the written word, and they went above and beyond and started teaching the lowest on the social rungs how to read.
Yep.
And that was a complete game changer.
Oh, for sure.
For society as a whole.
So this says daylight savings time ends on Sunday, November 7th, and clocks will fall back 1 hour at 2 a.m. So,
maybe that means I'll be an hour early for the stream next time. I'm so terrible.
Let's see here. Twice a year.
There we go.
The government mandates that we all arbitrarily change the time on our clocks. Okay, no. Okay, I don't like how that's written.
Yeah, but it's true.
It is true, but it's...
It's one of those uncomfortable truths, right? Like, you hear it and you're just like, it mandates?
It's an annual ritual that robs us of sleep, reduces our productivity, scatters our highways with death and destruction, and plunges thousands of people into seasonal depression. And not just that, it's also where they live and the amount of vitamin D they get. It's not all daylight savings time. Come on.
No, but I think they're just trying to quickly bring up a point. But you are right. It's not just.
It definitely doesn't save energy, which was the whole reason we started this damn fool ritual in the first place. That one I'll agree.
That we can all agree on. Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree it is a damn fool ritual, but I mean, I think it's a bit, this is a bit hyperbolic the way it's being presented. Benjamin Franklin is often credited as the inventor of daylight savings time, but that's not true. Benjamin Franklin wrote a 1784 article making fun of how dumb it would be for the government to switch clocks around in an attempt to save energy. Yes, he did. Franklin's 1784 article in the Journal de Paris mockingly describing a state-sanctioned system of moving clocks around to save energy. To repeat, Franklin thought this was an extraordinarily dumb idea that nobody would actually follow.
So to quote unquote save energy, and remember, you got to remember the times, people. These are all mechanical clocks.
Yeah.
That people actually have to physically walk to, physically change, and physically place back. That's a lot of energy expended.
And he's like, the letter, I actually looked it up on Wikipedia. The letter is like talking about conserving candles. It's really funny.
Yeah.
He's like, we gotta conserve the candles.
Which, your buddy Ben Franklin over there invented the light bulb, so... Mm-hmm. Or should I say reinvented the light bulb to make it the light bulb that we generally know today. Obviously, we have newer bulbs, but again, it's just the technology escaping our social constructs and social norms.
Yep. So let's see. The real inventor is this guy, William Willett. One summer morning, he gets up early and notices that the sun is shining bright during the wee hours of the morning, when he's usually asleep. Yeah, duh. Of course. Because, you know.
The planet moves around the sun.
Yeah. Rather than vow to get up earlier in order to enjoy the extra sunshine, Willett's plan is that everyone should get up earlier. The state should literally force them to alter their clocks twice a year so that they don't have a choice. Mandatory sunshine for everyone.
God damn it, BP, he's the original Karen.
He is.
He is the original Karen. We need to get it up to 88 miles per hour and stop this man. He is a monster.
This is funny as fuck.
Oh, he sent me the actual transcribed letter. Oh my! I'm not reading this now. Pincalo.
Oh, it's funny.
It's the actual letter, and it is funny. Yeah.
He's read it. Pincalo read it to me already. It was really, really funny.
So have him, before actual daylight savings time, record him in a video reading the entire thing and have it as a coffee short.
Yeah, that would be funny. Nobody pays much attention to this Willett character until the First World War breaks out. Okay.
Never let a good tragedy go to waste, eh, Willett?
By 1916, in Germany has tried everything to win the war. Sinking merchant ships from submarines, using poison gas against enemy troops, and they figure this Willett guy might be onto something. Change the clocks, use the extra sunlight to save energy on lighting, use the saved energy to subjugate Europe. Okay, I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm sorry. This freaks out the rest of the world, who subsequently starts changing their clocks just in case. And that's why we're stuck with it. Just like income tax. Okay, you know what? It's an artifact of global war. Okay, this author's an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, really, this author's a fucking moron. This author had me for a bit, but no. No. You've lost me, author. I'm sorry. I'm just no.
Yeah.
Like I agree daylight savings time is stupid, but I mean like
irrational just
this is when people need to learn how to be. I feel like people have forgotten how to actually be tongue in cheek.
Oh yeah, comedy is
like this really feels like she was trying for the tongue in cheek approach. Really? But it no. it really fell flat.
Yeah, I mean it's even harder to be tongue in cheek when you're not using a condom. I mean no, just kidding. In text and type, but a good writer will find a way. And that writer was not being very tongue in cheek or successfully.
No. It was like, yes, the Germans used like even if it was that they wanted to use daylight savings time to conserve energy to win the war, like there's a better way to like write that out that doesn't make you sound like a high school
complete nutter.
Yeah. Like this reads like it was written by a high school student. Quite honestly.
Well, let me tell you something, BP. The modern state of journalism
yeah.
in the West, you don't need much education.
No, you really don't.
Or much skill. Because you can have all the education in the world. If you don't have the skill, it's for naught. And
the third paragraph is hilarious, talking about individual days of the week. Oh my god,
oh, dear
that was
God.
I oh, the letter. Yeah. In the letter, he's like talking about how William Willett, he's talking about how like we could have an extra long Saturday. Like we could if we do daylight savings times, our Saturdays will be more enjoyable. It was weird. It was very weird.
Yeah.
And apparently you don't even need Grammarly because you can find so many spelling/grammar errors. Oh god. I think Grammarly is going to be the death of the author. Because authors and just journalists or anybody are just going to forget how to actually construct a sentence.
Yeah.
Because, Grammarly will just do it for me.
You're not wrong, Brandon Cross. I swear to God, I found less errors in stoner stuff like High Times than I do in mainstream media. Because, no, he's entirely
not
right.
Wrong.
Because it seems like that was everybody's, not plan B, but plan like D or E. Yeah. That, I'm not good enough to be A, B, C, D. I'm going to become a journalist.
Yeah.
A journalist. I'm going to become a journalist. And, I mean, just look at the state of supposedly the higher echelon of journalism in the West. It is pathetic. We're not talking about their opinions or their how they cover things, simply on a technical level of their writing ability.
Yeah.
It is horrible.
Yeah.
I have more intellectually stimulating conversations with children.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like
they have a better grasp of how to communicate than like
my 4-year-old could tell a better story than some of these journalists.
And he could probably spell and write better too. Or you know what? The other thing would be. Sorry, I was just blowing my nose. The other thing would be is that your 4-year-old would have no qualms about being, Mommy, Daddy, how do you spell disestablishmentarianism?
That's it. That would be him.
Because that's what kids do. They ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
These people, their heads are so far ingrained up their own asses.
Yep.
They won't ask a question. That's when you know you've lost that essence of what makes us human, is asking a question. Never be afraid. It sounds cliche, but it's true. The only dumb question is the one that wasn't asked.
Yep.
Even a dumb question is still a valid question.
Yeah.
Because somebody's asking for knowledge that they don't have. That should never be. You can satirize that. You can play around with it and make jokes about it. But at the end of the day, that is still a genuine human characteristic that you shouldn't really shame.
No.
Because if I don't know something, I'm asking a question to know about something or to find out what somebody might know about something.
Exactly.
And in terms of writing, people ask me all the time, because I'm very well articulated and very well versed in the English language. Elwyn, other people in my life, people online, they'll constantly ask, how do you spell that? Or am I using this word right? Or by all means, ask those questions, because especially if you're in a profession which relies on it. Hello, there's the internet. There's your peers in the next cubicle over.
Exactly. Like my mom, my mother, who has certification she's certified as bilingual.
Uh-huh.
And she actually took the government test because she's a public servant. And she got the certification to work in the bilingual projects. She still calls me. And she goes, is this right? With French. Because, she knows that I'm really, really good with languages. You put French or Spanish in front of me, I will, I really need to get back into practicing it because my conversation skills have really, took a dive. But if you put the word, the sentence in front of me and go, is this right? And I'll look at it and I'll be like, no, it's supposed to go like this.
Yeah.
My mom and my sister have gotten into French arguments because my sister was in French immersion, but her teachers were teaching, Parisian French, which was all anglicized and everything. And my mom and my sister would get into arguments over the right word. I have gotten more than one call. Is this right? Nope, it's not.
Awesome. Costin asks a very important question. How would one spell evil, Dr. Functional? Well, Costin, it's Cawston. I am evil, Costin. I am evil, Costin. I am evil, Costin. Again, we've become. I'm using a very generalization. Obviously, there are people that are better than other people. When I say that people have become lazy and almost entirely reliant on technology, these journalists seem to be very heavily in that camp. And again, head so far up their own butts that sometimes they don't even use the technology. They just think that what they do is right. And what is with editors? It's like these editors are now just figureheads and not actually editing these pieces in these publications. It's so weird. It's very foreign to me as somebody who appreciates the English language, the complexity, the variance. And again, this is a profession, specifically a profession that utilizes it almost exclusively.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they fail at it. They're horrible at using the English language.
All right, guys, you've come to the end of another coffee stream, and please come by Twitch tomorrow at 1 o'clock or 12:30 or 1 o'clock. I'll be doing some Beat the Blind Girl tomorrow. And I'll be recording a coffee shot for tomorrow as well.
Nice.
And then come back Friday for a coffee stream, and Saturday I think we'll all be there. So we'll be doing Skep Talks sci-fi crossover thing for Star Trek, and then next Saturday I wanted to do our favorite mirror universe iterations. Nice. So those are our next two topics for Star Trek. So be sure to catch that. And of course, we will actually do Blind Press After Dark this Friday. Oh my god. I fell on a puzzle on last Thursday. That's why there was nothing on Friday, because my kid had a completed puzzle on our hardwood floor.
Uh-oh.
And my one foot, I stepped on it while I was walking, and I just went, whee! And down I went. So, yeah. But there will actually be all of the scheduled things happening when they need to happen for the rest of the week.
Elwyn's been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat lately. It's been fun watching her.
Yeah, she was on she told me she's got it on the Switch and all that. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see ya on Twitch tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye, all. Thanks for showing up.